Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we have the pleasure of playing Tank Company and specifically the T54 Mod 1945, a brand new tier 6 medium tank from the Russian tech tree that just got out. You have two offers in the shop to get the tank. The first is the luxury one, in which you're gonna get also some crew and some equipments, everything to get your tank directly into battle, or the standard one that is a little bit cheaper and will cost you around 1.5 thousand gold, which is roughly 26 euros, and the luxury one that is around 35 euros. Now, of course, the first thing you're going to tell me when you take a look at this tank is it looks quite close to the Tech one, because if you compare it with the T44 that luckily for me I own, you see that it's basically the exact same tank. Yes and no, because there is one thing that makes the T54 Mod 1945 a better tank. And that thing is armor, because when you take a look at the T54 like that and go directly to the armor HUD, you see that you have around 100 or 180, 200, depending on how you angle the tank, of effective armor on the hull, which means that most of the tank you are going to encounter will not be able to penetrate you. Whereas when you take a look at the armor profile of the regular T44, you definitely see that it becomes quite easy to get it penetrated. And of course, this is not something wanted. In definitive, the main advantage of the T54 Mod 1945 is its armor, because you can either play it like a medium on the medium side and just bouncing everything, or playing it against heavies and surprising them because of your armor. But what about the other statistics? Let's find out, starting with the gun. Comparing it to the regular T44, you have a much better alpha damage, and of course a better armor penetration, but all of that has a cost, and the cost is the reload time, sitting at 9.5 seconds, which is longer than the regular T44. But to be fair with you, the average damage is not that bad, even if it can't be considered to be one of the greatest, but it's still gonna be enough for you to do the job. Concerning the turret, it turns fast and it has some crazy armor, so definitely a great one. For the mobility, you're going to be a little bit less mobile than the regular T44, but you are still going to do the job, and if you equip your tank properly, for example by equipping it with the turbocharger, let's say that you will get something close to the T44, the regular one, in terms of mobility, which is definitely a huge advantage. Now it's time for us to find out what this tank looks like in battle. And luckily for you, I have one that I just did yesterday. So basically, what you want to do with this tank is either finding a position from which you only show your turret to your opponents, because when you take a look at the armor profile, you will see that you have 330 effective armor, or you can try to still show them the frontal part of the hull, as long as you either try to angle it a little bit, or make sure to be so over-angled on the side that it becomes impossible for anything to penetrate. Your main strategy with the tank is using your armor, so please make sure to do it. So there we go, starting by firing to some of those reckless mediums that are trying to cross to the middle of the map without any necessities. If you are playing on that map, please guys, never do that. And you're gonna see that we can play confidently. We are pushing through, trying to finish off some of those tanks that got totally annihilated by the rest of my team. And as long as they are not trying to focus on me and rather try to shoot at the poor light tank that is on the middle, I'm gonna stay here and try my best to destroy them all. Obviously, when you have such a tank, you want to play aggressively. I'm gonna repeat myself, but that's the armor profile that allows you to do a lot of things with this thing. So what we are gonna do is trying to advance one hill at a time. And obviously doing so, we are gonna try to kill everything we see on our way. Starting with this Opium CCL-X1, a tier 6 light American tank. There we go, already at 2 kills and nearly 2k damage. We're gonna get close to it, don't worry. And we keep going with all of those tanks that are not focusing on us. By the way, my apologies if from time to time the replay is a little bit laggy. It's not the game that lags, it's just that when I recorded that, I had my girlfriend downloading a video at the same time. And the problem is, you know, when you don't have the best connection, you get some pings. But not a problem, because we still did more than 5k damage, so I was quite happy with the replay. So now that we're finished off with the targets that were not watching us, let's go directly into action. Let's try to dive in and fight 3 enemies at the same time. As you can see in front of us, we have a T54-100 that is definitely a tank impossible for it to penetrate us. He will not be able to penetrate. But at the same time, there is a Lava and a Tiger, and both of those tanks are known to have a great penetration for their tier, which means that if we go a little bit too fast, even if we have a great armor, we will probably get penetrated. So what we want to do right now is using the tank at our advantage, and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean by that. I'm going to try maybe to pause the replay here briefly just to show you what I'm doing. If you take a look at the hill in front of us, it's hiding the lower part of our hull, which is the weak spot. And by trying to move just a little bit over using my whole hull over-angled, I'm making sure that they can't penetrate me. If you want to play the tank correctly, and obviously if you want to get some juicy bounces, you need to do these kind of stuffs. It kind of sucks that we don't have a free camera on this. Maybe if I click, oh no, it's just the HUD. It sucks that we don't have a free camera, because I would like to show you what it looks like from their point of view, because from theirs, it's probably just a whole red pack thing that is impossible to penetrate. But if you get what I mean, what is impossible, not impossible, important to do, guys, is to always make sure that they can't see the lower part of your hull, and most importantly, that you always have the gun out. Always show your turret, because you can confidently bounce anything in your turret. And it seems like it's going to piss them off, because they are really trying to get better positions to get me. But obviously, if on top of that, every time I'm reloading, I just go back to a safe cover, it becomes impossible for them to penetrate me, resulting in me getting more than 1k free blocking damage. Now it seems like they get the support of the artillery, but it's not a problem. I'm not necessarily fearing artillery, specifically when I have more than 900 hit points. So what I'm currently doing is still trying my little tactic against the Lava, and now that I see that the guy is looking at someone else, I'm just gonna jump in. He's in the middle of nowhere. There is no way he can do anything. We destroy the fella, and now we are pushing forward, trying to get to either the artillery or the latest tank destroyer. And obviously here on top of our armor, the mobility is going to help us, because as you saw in the preview, we are using a turbocharger, increasing my top speed by 5 kilometers per hour. And in my opinion, it's probably one of the most important equipments when you're using this thing, because otherwise it feels more like a heavy than a medium. Here at least it feels like a little bit of a slow medium, because usually mediums in this game can go to 55 kilometers per hour, but at least, well, you are more armored than ever. So now, finishing off the target, getting to that T28, always shooting at the tracks to make sure to immobilize the target. On top of that, we put it on fire, which results in our 6th skill, and obviously 5.5 thousand damage. Do not worry, this time I managed to get my hands on the battle report, so let's see together. Unfortunately, as there is my camera on the screen, you can't see the number of damage, but it's basically 5,482. We got 6 kills, 1 spot, nearly 1k assisting damage, and we resisted what I thought was 1k, but rather 640 alpha damage. Now for the credits, you see that we did a lot of them. We did nearly 150,000. And it's simply because I was using a special credit booster, which means that it's not necessarily what you will do with the tank. You will do that really if you do an amazing game, but usually you will go around 100,000 credits for this kind of game. But in definitive, is it worth it knowing that you have a tank that is close to it in the regular tech tree, and that on top of that, to be fair with you, this tank is not necessarily the most amazing. If you want to play it like a regular heavy, you should definitely go for something else that is more armored, like the IS-2SH that is currently available for half the price. But if you are really looking for something original, a tank to surprise your opponents on the medium side, then yes, it could be a good idea. But overall, I would tell you not to buy the T54 Mod 1. In my opinion, this tank is not worth it. And it's going to be my final word. Maybe that you will disagree with me. If that's the case, feel free to tell me in the comments, and also tell me what next tank you want me to review. And I'm gonna see you soon for a new video, probably on the STG or some leaks concerning Tank Company. See ya.